Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today we're going to discuss absolute value equations and what is an absolute value. Okay? So in order to solve these equations, first we have to understand absolute value. Absolute value, when we're talking about this, is a physical distance. So if I ever take the absolute value of 7, what I'm doing is I'm finding how many spaces from 0 is 7. And all you're doing is counting this distance. So the absolute value of 7 is 7. And then if I said something like the absolute value of -3, well, how many spaces from 0 is -3? Now, we don't count in negatives here. We actually just say, hey, I have 3 spaces from 0, which therefore just makes the absolute value of -3 is 3. It's +3. Okay? So that's what an absolute value is. Now, in addition to that, we're going to look at some sets where we may get the absolute value of some number x is 12. Okay, so here we have to ask ourselves, how many numbers have a distance of 0 from 12? Well, in this case, we actually would have 2. So the 2 numbers that we know, and just thinking about it on a number line, if 0 is in the middle here, I could either go 12 spaces to the right to +12, or I could go 12 spaces to the left to -12. So a solution here, we actually have 2 solutions in this set where we have both -12 and +12 would be a solution. Okay? So we actually do have 2 values here that would make this true. If we keep that in mind, we know that with these equations, we actually have 2 values here that would have an absolute value of 5. So that's what we have to set up first. What we're going to set up are exactly what we said, where we have this thing that I call a positive equation and a negative equation. I'll show you what that means in a minute. Okay? The positive equation here is asking it, well, what if we just made the number inside here +5? Okay? So I'm asking myself, what +2 is equal to +5? So I'm just literally rewriting that absolute value equation without the absolute value symbol. And now I just solve the equation as normal. Subtract 2 from both sides to get my x value alone, and then x is equal to 3. So there's one value here. The negative equation, now knowing what we know about absolute value, the negative equation would ask us and say, well, what if the absolute value of -5 was in here? That would equal +5. So I'm trying to create a -5 in here. So the only thing that will change for my negative equation, we're going to keep it as x + 2 because that's still within our parameters of our absolute value. But now I'm no longer trying to make +5 with the x + 2. I'm trying to make -5. And that's the change with our positive and negative equation. I solve as I normally do. I'm going to subtract the 2 from both sides. And this time, I'm left with x is equal to -7. So what I can do here is do a little substitution in here and test both of them. 3 + 2, that's +5. The absolute value of +5 is 5. -7 + 2 is -5, which actually gets us the absolute value of 5 again. So our final solution, we write this as a set. And I like writing my smaller number first. So -7 and +3 are our solutions there. Both will make that statement true. Okay, so now I'll go to the second one over here. So the second one, we're going to going to go a little faster here, our positive and negative equation. Positive equation, essentially, I don't change anything here. I just make it -4 + x equals 2. So I'm trying to make this to be the absolute value of 2. I want to make it +2. So what plus -4 will equal +2? I'm going to add 4 to both sides to balance my equation. X is equal to 6. That's one value. Our negative equation, now I'm going to make it -4 + x, but this time I'm going to try and create -2 because I know the absolute value of -2 is actually +2. Add 4 to both sides. So you're left with x is equal to +2. Okay, I'm going to do a little substitution just to make sure it works. I have, if I were to take -4 + 6, I would get +2. And the absolute value of +2 is 2. Over here, -4 + 2 equals -2. And the absolute value of negative 2 is positive 2 again. So both of those check out. My final solution, I'm going to write them from least to greatest in my set. X is equal to the set of 2 and 6.